Now, part of me really didn't want to review the LG FP5 purely because they're not exactly a new model, but I did put out a poll on my community tab and 66% of you wanted this review. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a first impressions review now, as I usually do, and then eventually I'll do an in-depth review just to see what it's about. Now, of course, I am thinking exactly what a lot of you are thinking. How come they've dropped the price so drastically from its MRP to what it is now? And that specific price point makes you question exactly how much of a profit a lot of these companies are making, especially if they're selling it for, close to 15 to 20,000 and then dropping it down to as low as 5,000 rupees. So let's jump into this first impressions review and see what these earphones are really about. Okay, so here's the box. It's called the LG Tone Free, and I think a big reason why a lot of you were asking for this is because it has tuning by Meridian, which, if you know, they're a high-end audio company. If I'm being very honest, this boxing isn't too great. I think I've seen a similar finish on I reviewed a set of earphones that were about $1,000. This is not too great. This has an MRP on the box of 19,990, but you can get these online for about 4,999 now. So technically these are flagship earphones being sold at a terrifically discounted rate. I'm keen to see what they're about when it comes to this current pricing alone. But it'll be interesting to see if they're genuinely worth their MRP. So far, I'm not impressed. The box is, well, it's not a great print. It's not a very nice finish. If I saw this in a store and someone told me these were for 20 grand, I wouldn't buy these based on the box alone. Okay, I'm breaking the seals now. I don't know. This is not exactly the most amazing unboxing experience. Anyway, here's the case. Yeah, this feels kind of, it's got a sort of, it's slightly rubbery, this feel. It feels quite nice. But before I get into the case, let's see what the rest is about. There's obviously recyclable material. These are very dusty. I don't know why these are so dusty. I think the box was loose. It's not a very well fitted box. So anyway, you get the charging cable, USB type C, USB type A on the other end. These look like smalls and large like is standard, and there's a whole bunch of literature, and it's, I don't know, there's not been much effort when it comes to the unboxing experience. I think Apple set a standard years ago and now everybody's replicating that. I suppose LG never got that memo, but anyway, let's jump in and see what the case is all about. So this is the little case that it has. It's pretty compact. In fact, what do I have here? I've got a set of the Realme Buds Air 3, and this is the FP5, the LG. So this is the size comparison between the two. It's a pretty compact case. In fact, it's a lot more compact. At least the footprint is a lot smaller than the Realme case. And the material is quite interesting. It's a matte finish and it feels kind of rubbery. It's not like a matte finish that I reviewed for the JBL Tune 230 NC. This does seem sort of upmarket. It doesn't give the impression of being cheap at all. It is well made. So let's open it up and see what's on the inside. So upon reveal, when you open the case, a little LED light starts flashing it's ready to sync up with your device, and you can see a little print over here that says with Meridian, showcasing that they've teamed up with Meridian for the tuning. Now, a few other companies do this. I think the most popular case is Nothing teaming up with Teenage Engineering for the tuning of the sound for the Nothing ear ones, and they did a terrific job. So I'm interested to see how these will sound. The little earbuds look really compact in the case. The stems are quite tiny. I think these might be the same length or a bit shorter than the Nothing ear ones. I'll have to put them side by side to know for sure. And the inner part of the case, of course, has the LG branding with a little cutout so that the earbuds sit with it quite flush. This is a pretty snug design. I like the way this has been laid out. Actually, it's a very tiny little puck. And I think this may be a little smaller than the W30 ones. This is a very neat little design, and your earphones do pluck out quite easily. And after that, you can see the connection points in the case that charge up the earphones. It doesn't look like it has any reset button. The earphones, for that matter, have a matte finish. It feels, well, it doesn't really feel slippery or too tiny to handle. The ear tips are also quite soft. So overall, I'd say the fit and finish of the case and the earbuds does seem pretty nice. It is definitely more upmarket. The finish is better than the Nothings and the JBLs that I've reviewed. Obviously, these were meant to be more of a flagship set of earphones. So now let's jump in and see how these things pair. Hey, it's got fast pairing. It just popped up on my phone. That's convenient. It does have an LG app which you can control it in detail with as any other earphones. And this is telling me I need a software update. So these are finally updated. These have synced up with the phone fairly easily. This does have fast pairing. Now since I've managed to pair it, let's jump straight into the app. So anyway, let's jump into this, and it has the standard battery. Then you've got your software update option, then the user manual. So of course these will have your touch controls, which is touch once for answer calls and play music, touch twice for end calls, touch 3 times for play the next song, and long press for ambient sound, noise cancelling, and for some models. I don't think these have slide options. I wish these had some sort of a slide feature for the volume. I mean, at least I prefer that. Then moving on from the manual, let's see what else it has. It has equalizer settings that is done with Meridian. So you can swap between these few different sound modes, which I'll check. In fact, I will go through these in detail for my in-depth review. For first impressions, it's sort of a very superficial review. But it's nice that you can see you can customize. Okay, and you've got multiple bands as well. This is an 8-band EQ, which is quite impressive. So I will be jumping to this in my in-depth review, and let's move on. You have your control for ambient sound and ANC. You've got your noise cancelling off for high-low. You've got off and ambient sound control as well. And then you have your autoplay pause, and then it's got something called touchpad lock. Locks the touchpad when not in use. Something I'll check for my in-depth review. Touchpad settings, custom functions. Okay, see, this is nice. You can customize for different volumes, and I like it when earphones have these kind of features. It makes it a lot more personal when you're able to really customize. Tone-free lab, what is this? Game mode, okay. And whispering mode. Hold the right earbud mouse. Okay, this is interesting. Then you've got your voice alerts, settings, detailed settings. Oh, okay, there's a lot you can do there. Find my earbuds, also a neat feature to have. So that's it for the app. It seems pretty extensive. So when it comes to this app, I think it's the most intense, or should I say most feature intense app I've seen for all of the earphones that I've tested. I think well, it's not, the most intense headphone one was maybe the Sony headphones app for the XM4s that I reviewed. But this is pretty extensive. It'll be interesting to spend some time with this for my in-depth review. Let's see how these fare with their active noise cancelling. And they're pretty compact. These are really small earphones actually. The stem is really tiny. They are pretty comfortable. I'm wearing the medium ear tips right now that they come with. Usually medium fits me pretty well. So let's go into the active noise cancelling. So right now the active noise cancelling is off. So it just sounds like it's isolating because the ear tips are in my ears. So it's like putting your fingers in your ears. I'm switching over to the ambient sound now, which is on listening mode, which is weird because I can sort of hear myself a bit, my voice bouncing off the walls. It sounds a bit odd, but let's move it over to the conversation mode. So the conversation mode, I suppose, I can talk to somebody that much better, so I can hear myself a lot more right now. It's a bit of a weird experience, but I suppose if I'm talking to somebody, it'll be nice to converse with them this way because it'll be that much clearer. And let me move on to noise cancelling, which has a high and a low mode. It's good. I can't complain about it because it's actually so quiet that I can hear my own heart beating. I mean, you can experience this even with other earphones if they've got good ANC, earphones or headphones, especially when it's really quiet. So all in all, I'd say the ANC is actually pretty impressive. So now what I'll do is I will move on to listening to some audio. And right now I'm listening to audio at about 40-50%. The track I'm listening to right now, it has vocals in the distance that are usually not heard in a lot of earphones. This makes them very prominent. On a volume front, I get the sense that they're not exactly, it feels like they're not being amped too well, which I usually face on earphones that are in a much lower price segment. And I make that statement based on the fact that this has an MRP of almost 20,000 rupees. I would have expected more volume out of this. It just seems hesitant. It seems pulled back. Yeah, if you're getting it for 5,000 bucks, okay, it's fine. but I wouldn't have spent 20,000 bucks on this. So honestly, the question now is it really worth 5,000 bucks? Because there are a lot of questions around this set of earphones actually. Now, mind you, I'm listening to how these are straight out of the box. There is no equalizer that's on. I've put it on custom 1 because that's absolutely flat. Every single band is at 0 dB and it's okay. It's super flat, it's super balanced, it's very clean sounding. I mean, the imaging is clear. I wouldn't say it's too sharp, it's superbly clean. It is definitely very easy to pull out certain nuances, but I want to check out and see how Meridian has tuned them, in the sense through the EQs. So I'm right now shifting over to what I think will be the flattest thing, which is called natural EQ settings. So I'll switch over right now. That amping thing just disappeared. Everything is just so much more alive now. This is what it should have been out of the box. Okay, I can believe that these cost 20,000 now. The depth, the bass seems effortless. It's not straining, it's not trying too hard. Vocals are, well, natural sounding, as the equalizer I'm on states. The high frequencies aren't shrill or piercing like a lot of earphones tend to be. It seems almost as if the driver is the host at a party and it's just relaxing. It's not trying too hard to put on a show. It's doing what it can with absolute ease. Okay, so as much as I want to keep listening to these, the isolation on these little things is really good, and the active noise cancelling as well is actually, well, it might be better than some of the other things I've reviewed, but I won't be able to say for sure until I do review them or even compare them. I do want to spend a lot of time with these for my in-depth review. I wasn't really for doing this review, but a lot of you guys really wanted this. I mean, the greater percentage did want me to review these, and I was a bit, well, apprehensive about it, but after listening to especially the Meridian tuning, I think we might have something very interesting here, because if this is genuinely going to go for 5,000 rupees now and they're still manufacturing this, well, if you compare this to the likes of the Nothings and the JBLs and all that I've reviewed recently, it might be close. It might just be that this might be on top of the game with all of those. Again, I don't know for sure. I'll have to pit them against each other just to know, since I mean, at least I have all of these for testing right now. And the one thing that actually did pull me towards this is the fact that these were being sold at around 20,000, or should I say MRP was the 20,000, and they have been brought down to as low as 5,000 now. Like I mentioned earlier, it does make you wonder how much of a profit these companies are making with a lot of these earphones, because I'm sure they're making some amount of profit even now at this price. All in all, right now, I think I'm going to leave the big questions for when I do my in-depth review. So of course, if you do want to know any specifics about these earphones in particular, please do let me know down in the comments below in this first impressions video about what details you'd like to know about this, because then I'll be able to address those same questions for my in-depth review and will be able to help you a little better. And of course, I do hope this video has helped you in some way or the other understand these earphones to a certain extent. And of course, thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.